Dana Bash on CNN. Dana Bash on CNN. Yeah. And they're talking to Vivek. And it's like, well, you know, this is why, and this is, and you know, she's like, that's not true. That's not been verified. That's not, how do you know? That's not, it's so funny that they really don't like this guy.
They don't.
Yeah. No, she's got her producer in the ear denying these things and spinning.
And yeah, because he's talking about what, Pat? He's talking about Joe Biden. Because he basically said last night, Joe Biden, he goes, we're not stupid. We all know, including the left, Joe Biden is not running. Just be honest. It's going to be Gavin Newsom, or he even said Michelle Obama at one point, didn't he? This is it, Pat? This is the one.
How many seconds is that now? Yeah, play this one. Go ahead, play this one. This is the one.
But what I'm saying is, as a Republican candidate, I can't just call out Democrats and their corruption. I've called out the Hunter Biden corruption from Ukraine and the $5 million bribe.
Look at her.
And I will continue to do that. But I'll call out the Republican
Party.
There's
no evidence to support.
Well.
Yes, there is.
There's no evidence to support.
That he was paid a $5 million bribe from Burisma.
Yeah,
well, if he was,
we
that's
just
corruption.
Did a fact check.
Okay.
But if he was, but I just want you're making an allegation where there's no evidence.
There's literally
to back that up.
Okay.
Our Daniel Dale literally just talked about this on the air.
Absolutely. There's a.
What would you say?
Here's what you say. What proof did you have when for 3.5 years you said there's 100% proof about Russia collusion?
Yeah. Well, she's like, I fact checked.
You did that. Yeah. Go ahead.
I go the other way and say, what proof you have it wasn't a bribe?
Yeah, you dumb idiot.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ra.
Evidence and testimonial evidence to suggest it. You have U.S. senators saying they've received information. The investigations are proceeding as we speak. But that is corruption in the Democratic Party that I have called out, and I think it deserves to be called out in the Republican Party as well.
There's no evidence.
No, I've not admitted
there's
there's
circumstantial evidence. But
well, look, Chuck Grassley. Ask Chuck Grassley for the actual recordings that are actually turned over from Burisma.
We have them. Nobody has seen it.
Yeah, look at her. Look at her.
Why haven't they released? And I think whether it's one thing I will just say is bipartisan point.
Shut up.
Whether you're Joe Biden or Nikki Haley, release your tax returns. Be completely open about where you've made your money. The American people deserve to know. I did something early in this campaign that, frankly, people in both parties should be doing. I put out 20 years of tax returns. I understand why people don't do it, but that's the kind of honesty we need in both parties. And so,
wow, he put 20 years out of his tax returns?
Yeah, he put it up. And they were asking him the other day, hey, why'd you make $800,000 and you asked for a scholarship? Yeah. Why would you ask for a scholarship when you got an $800,000? He says, you ever worked in private equity? You ever worked in investment banking? You get your bonuses end of the year. When I applied, I didn't have any money. I didn't have the bonuses.
Good.
Yeah, but the year before you made $200,000, and he's going, yeah, I made $200,000 the year before. I didn't make $800,000. But he's just straight up openly talking about it. I love him.
But by the way, you know his net worth, allegedly?
$600
million.
$800 million.
$800 million.
By age 38, dude.
Yeah.
So, guy's a beast.
There are so many reasons why the establishment would hate a guy like this.
Yep.
Young, confident, went to the schools they went to, took the debate classes, knows exactly the game they play, has his own money, doesn't need your money, doesn't need your endorsement, went to podcasts, didn't need mainstream media. He went from podcast to mainstream media inviting him. It's an ideal candidate for the establishment to not like.
Yeah, they think they've seen the movie before with Obama, and it makes them nervous.
And speaking of establishment, Dana Bash, I mean, she's one of the faces of CNN. By the way, you know who she was married to? Jeremy Bash. That's what she got her name. Jeremy Bash was the chief of staff of the CIA.
Oh, weird. Initially,
this was in the early 2000s. Then she married John King, who's one of the more politically savvy guys on CNN. Yeah. She co-hosts State of the Union with Jake Tapper.
Yeah, she's a hack.
She's just I'm not going hack. I'm just saying she's part of the establishment.
An establishment hack. For her to cut him off, like at this point, it's completely obvious what Hunter and Joe Biden were doing. Like, and if you try to, she's cutting him off because she doesn't want the words to come out of his mouth. We're not stupid. They just sent subpoenas for Hunter, his brother, and one other guy but again, nothing's going to happen.
But Vivek brings up a really good point, is that you could have anybody host this NBC debate. And you go with Lester Holt. Okay, he's kind of vanilla. I mean, oddly enough, even though he's black. And then you have Kristen Welker. So, I mean, he does bring up a very good point that you could, would the DNC ever have Greg Gutfeld or Hannity or Tucker ever host one of their debates?
No.
So I guess this isn't even cable. This isn't CNN. This is NBC. This is as legacy mainstream media as it gets to host the RNC. Interesting.
How much you think this format is going to be changed in the next 4, 8, 12 years? Or do you think 12 years from now it's still going to be the same thing?
Oh, I'm fully convinced it's going to change.
In how long? In 4, 8, or 12 years?
I would say 4 years might be a little too soon. I would say in the next 8 to 10 years, this is going to be.
And change to what?
Well, look, if you even look at it now, who was the broadcasting partner, streaming partner? It was Rumble.
Yeah.
Rumble. We sat next to Chris and the whole Rumble team. Shout out to those guys. If you told me 4 years ago Rumble would be broadcasting the RNC, I'd be you're out of your mind. Who the hell's Rumble? Yeah. But things are changing. So I think in 4 years it could be happen that quickly.
I think two things are going to change in 4 years. I think you're going to see an evolution of the moderators. I think, and not because Vivek is suggesting it, but because people on podcasts are demanding it. I think you're going to see moderators change. I'd like to see you moderate. I'd like to see Joe Rogan moderate. I'd like, I would not mind. I'd like to see Tucker moderate. I'd like to see a series. So I think moderators are going to change because people are demanding it, especially the people who are paying Tesla podcasts. Number one. Number two, I think it's going to change is I think the timing and the venues. This is pure establishment. You walk in there and there's everybody from the RNC, everybody from the high-end donors. I want to see bigger venues where more regular Americans can get in the door, and I think you're going to see that change next time. Those are my two predictions.
Check this out right here. Rob just pulled it up. News Nation anchor Elizabeth Vargas and talk show host Megyn Kelly will be the moderators at December 6th in Alabama.
And who's that? Who's the other one, Pat?
Washington Free Beacon editor Eliana Johnson.
Washington Free Beacon is it's a very old but very small newspaper.
Oh, got you. Well, I mean, because Megyn Kelly
covers, oddly enough, politics.
3 women, not a man, not a single man as the moderator.
That's so sexist. I don't think I'm going to be able to watch it. That's ridiculous.
So you really think they're going to go away from this? This is the only way they're going to go away from this. Here's what I think. The only way they're going to get away from this format is if in the next 4-8 years, there's such a massive disruption in cable news network with the kind of money they're making and big pharma ads going through where they can't afford to do it anymore, that they're simply saying, you know what, we got to go digital. Guess what? We're going to do it this way. We're going to do it this way. We're going to do it this way. But do you think it's going to be still the 2-minute answers, the 1-minute answers, the 90-second type of answers? Or do you think it's going to be actually a long-form type of a debate?
Well, that's been debate format going back 150 years of college. So the origin of this was the disciplined debate. You flip a coin, you draw straws, and then you read a single question. You answer it, I rebut, and then you get a follow-up. And you do that eloquently. If you go back and look at Kennedy and Nixon, they did it very nicely. Even Carter, and Reagan did it nicely. It got a little more out of hand, Clinton's second term, where people started interrupting each other, going a little crazy. Mm-hmm. But that's been like debate class 101. That's been the way we've taught debate a long time. Make your point, receive a rebuttal, provide a follow-up, and then let the audience or the professor decide.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.